Okay, this is the second movie for the homework for Chapter 7, and we left off, it's Step 5. So, Step 5, we already created this, but now what we need to do is, so we have 5 done. Do that. So now we're on 6. Group the results by category. Okay, so first of all, I have to get that on this grid, right? So I'm going to put my totals button on, and it gets my group by. So I'm going to do a group by, and what do I want to do? And then sum the gross sales. So I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to say sum, and then I need to put parentheses, or you know what, let me zoom that out because I can't stand looking at that. So in here I'm going to put the word, I put the word sum, and then I put a parentheses around the entire equation. Okay, and then I need to change this to an expression, because this is, you're not grouping by, you're not doing this, you're saying use what is in this formula in here. So let's go ahead, and there we go. By each category now, we have a total of the gross sales. So that worked. So let me go back there and show it, just do that again. So I originally had it just showing detail lines, right? I put the total in, I'm grouping it by category because that's what it told me to do. And it told me that it wanted a total by that category. So I put the sum function in front of that formula, and I changed the total from a group by to an expression. So that's done. Now we need to format gross sales as currency. So if I go to my property sheet, I'm on gross sales. I'm going to click on format, and what does it say? Currency. So I can close that. If I run that again, there it is. Perfect. Perfect. If I go back, I like to just double check. Everything looks good. Save it as QRY gross sales. Done. Number 6 is done. So we're done with that. Save the query. All right. So it doesn't tell me to get out, but let's see, create a barrier based on. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. If I'm wrong, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Okay, so this one is going to be very much like the last one, only instead of having a grouping by the category, we're going to just do it for everything, right? So create a query based on product and purchase line that displays a calculated field named total gross sales that calculates the total gross sales. So let's start that right now. So we're going to create in query design, we want product, purchase line, close. I'm going to open this up and see what we got. All right, so we're not bringing anything down here. We're just going to do a formula. So I'm going to zoom so I can get this, and let's read. Okay, total gross sales. So that's going to be the name. Total gross sales colon is calculated by multiplying the cost of the item by a markup of 40%. We know how to do that, right? So it's really the same formula that we just did, right? So that would be cost times 1.4 times quantity, square brackets. But we now know we want to do a total, sum the total, right? So we're going to come right here, put sum in front of it, and then encase the whole formula in a parentheses. Do okay. And then we know we're going to we want the totals in there, and we want to make that an expression. Let's run it and see what we get. I think that's right. So that is the correct, I was just verifying the number. 5,417.93 cents. Okay, so format total gross sales as currency. So I'm on here. I'm going to go to my property sheet, format, currency, close it, run it again, and there we go. There's your 93 cents. We're going to save that. It's going to be called QRY total gross sales, and we can close that. So 7 is done. So really those two are very similar. The only difference is one you wanted it grouped by the category, and then the other one you wanted it for all items, right? Just like a grand total. Okay. So now we're going to do number 8. So let's read it. It says create a query in design view based on query gross sales and query total gross sales. So those are those two queries we just created, and we know they're right, so we know that this one's going to be right. That displays category gross sales in a calculated field that's named percent of gross sales, that shows what percentage of each category sales contributed to the gross total sales. So that's kind of why we did these two. One is we wanted a total by category, and then we want a grand total for all items. So now we can see by each category what percentage of the total is that category, right? And so you see it's going to take us really 3 queries to get to that answer where we're going to do the percentage of each category. So let's go ahead and start that. We're going to build it in, and then just do step by step. Query design. So this time we're not building it on a query, so I got to click over, I'm sorry, a table. We're going to build it on a query. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to say query gross sales and query total gross sales. And now we're going to show what percentage, okay, that displays category, gross sales, and then a percentage of gross, a calculated field name percent of gross sales that shows what percentage each category sales contributed to the total gross revenue. Okay, so how are we going to get this? Well, percent of gross sales is calculated by dividing gross sales by the total gross sales. Okay, so let's think about that. So we need to do a calculated field here. So I'm going to, oops, sorry, I'm going to right click and zoom. And what is this field going to be called? PCT of gross sales colon. Okay, and then to the right, it's just divided gross sales by total gross. Big thing here is you have to put, oh, and I like to show my, so gross sales, make sure you spell it exact, include the field name in square brackets, divided by total gross sales. And then, okay. Run it, and there we go. We have these railroad, the pound signs, because we haven't formatted it correctly. So let's go back over and continue to read. Format percent of gross sales as a percentage. So I'm on it, property sheet, format, percent, close, run it again. There we go. Sweet. Got it. So let's go ahead and save that. It's going to be called QRY PCT of sales. Okay. I'm going to run it. Oops, we were running it. Sorry. So 8's done. Let's close that one out. Okay. Run the query. In datasheet view, add a total to the bottom of the percent of gross. So I'm going to do this, and I want to sum. It's 100%. That's what we want. Save our changes and close the query. So we're done with 9, and I need to stop this movie again. All right, guys, thank you.